Welcome to the Get Back, music work talk in Central Texas, Fridays at 1 p.m. Brought to you by the Austin Federation of Musicians and with the Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee. The Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee are members of the Austin Federation of Musicians, Local 433 of the American Federation of Musicians, aka the Musicians Union. Some of us work as contractor 1099 workers, and others work as employee W-2 workers in various aspects of the music industry.
The goal of this session is to share our experiences, including trials and tribulations related to the Texas Workforce Commission, or TWC, with other musicians in the state of Texas to aid in navigating the TWC application process. We are not experts in unemployment assistance. We are musicians.
The information contained herein does not constitute either legal advice or an official pronouncement or a position of the Austin Federation of Musicians, but rather is only the personal opinions of the panelists. The panelists do not give legal advice or make official rulings on agency matters, should not be cited as authorities in any matter before the agency or when dealing with agency staff about a case, and must minimize their involvement with administrative processes. They also do not give legal advice on any other matter, and any information they should give should not be used as a basis for taking any employment-related action. Before taking any employment action that could adversely affect an employee, or before using any sample form or policy you may obtain from this group, you should consult a licensed private sector employment law attorney of your choice. All right, welcome back to the Get Back. This is the Get Back for June 11th, 2021. And Mark and Russell are joining me today. I'm Aaron. Hello, everybody. Yeah. Gosh, we always start with those websites that we put at the bottom in the show description. And those are the best places to get information about unemployment, particularly, which has been the focus of the show thus far. But there's other COVID resources down there as well. And let's get right to the beverages. I'm doing coffee once again. How about you guys?
Usual spring water.
There you go.
Green tea as always.
Green tea, could have predicted it. There we go. Set your watch by it. I love it. Yeah, right on. Okay. Well, we've got a couple of stories today. Not a ton of topics, but I think it's still unemployment is still the hot button issue here. It's still going to cut out for most of us at the end of the month, unless you have standard vanilla unemployment insurance that from a W-2 job. Pretty much everyone else is going to get cut from the unemployment program, which is creating kind of a tense situation for all of us. I guess we should just dive right in. We heard from Daisy last week about some of her experiences with sort of verifying employment with the TWC, and I guess Mark, you've just gotten off the phone with someone. Is this breaking news right now?
Literally, I mean, it was one of those things where I had a bunch of other things to do, so I thought I would tough it out on the hold with TWC, and it took over an hour to reach somebody. But like I say, I had other things to do. I put my phone on speaker. But the reason why I was calling was that I had received a message in my correspondence inbox saying that they were requesting proof of self-employment from me. And that document requested information from 2019 regarding my self-employment in 2019, including my tax forms and 1099s and some other stuff. So the reason why I called them was because I had already submitted that information. In fact, I'd submitted it more than a year ago when I first started applying for unemployment benefits. They asked me to submit those documents, and I did. Mm-hmm. So when I finally talked to somebody today, she was kind of going back and forth between me and her supervisor, and it turned out that they did, in fact, discover the documents that I had sent in more than a year ago, sitting somewhere in a box in Austin. And so they acknowledged that they'd received those documents, but then, of course, they had to have those documents transferred to somewhere else, to the proper place where they could take care of it now. So I don't know if all that's going to happen, but at least she said that it would be taken care of, and that I would receive a digital communication that had been resolved. But of course, to add comedy to the phone call, she said, "Oh, and by the way, I noticed that there's a mention in your file that you are not that your identity is still under question, not verified," which, literally 3 or 4 weeks ago, I went through 3 long phone calls with TWC and was told that all that had been resolved.
Yeah, regular viewers of this program will recall from just a few weeks ago. Mark was battling with this then. Yeah.
I'm still not me. I'm still not verified. And she brought up the ID.me thing again, and I pointed out to her today that I had done the ID.me thing and submitted my documents, and they screwed it up, and it never went to TWC. So I don't know where that's going to go, but I mean, it seems like this is kind of an ongoing saga here. And I imagine it's probably the case with other people too, because, I know other people didn't submit their employment verification documents a year ago. I did. I happened to do that because I had them at hand and it was pretty easy to submit them. Mm-hmm. But obviously, it didn't make a lot of difference that I did submit them because the right department never got them.
Wow. Yeah.
So, all I can say to people is keep after it if you can. I mean, I realize that not everybody is able to do an hour or an hour and a half long phone call. I just happened to have other things that I was working on here, and I just left my phone sitting there on hold. But I realize not everybody else can do that, and so it's a difficult situation, because you can't. There's no way to resolve these issues with the TWC. There's no easy way, I should say, to resolve them.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, and it's just killing us. Yeah, the anxiety that this is creating is, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the threat is that they come after you for benefits that they've already paid you.
Yeah, presumably everything that they've paid you since the beginning of the pandemic, which is...
Well, actually, in my case, it said they would come after me for everything that I'd received after December 20th of 2020. So they weren't, for some reason, they didn't go all the way back to... I don't understand it, but who's to question, right?
Right. They're just going to ruin your life a little bit, not.
Well, but that's still a substantial amount of money. I mean, from last
yeah.
December to April, when I voluntarily stopped receiving benefits, that's a pretty good chunk of change, which I don't want to have to repay.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. Yeah. Nor do we have the work to even begin repaying something like that, right now.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
It's wild, yeah. So yeah, like we said, we heard from another musician who was on the show last week,
right.
And she had a similar experience, but she didn't submit those documents last year, because remember there were certain conditions where they wanted you to submit those documents last year, according to like how much income you made or something. Yeah, not everybody did it, and not everybody needed to. And so, so she did it within the last month or so, I think is what it was.
Right.
But her experience was that she was trying to use the online document portal, which is supposed to be a secure way you could,
right.
electronically transfer these documents, and she said it never worked. It was like broken the entire time. So she mailed them. She printed them all out and mailed them, and God knows how long that will take to process. But
6 weeks.
Yeah, but yeah, she got
because when I did that last April or whenever it was, the reason why I didn't use the online portal was that same reason, which is that somebody from TWC said, "Don't do that."
Really?
Yeah, they told me that that's what that's set up for, but it never works. That was a year ago.
Wow.
And so that's why I mailed my documents in, because they said, look, it's going to take longer, but it's much more reliable
Wow.
to mail your documents in.
Oh my goodness.
But then, of course, my documents have been sitting at a desk at the wrong place since whenever I mailed them, right? But she did the right thing, because I don't think that online thing works.
Yeah, she said it was always like it would fail. It would go to the 404 error or something like that every single time, and
right.
Maybe that's because it was everyone was panicking to use it all at the same time or something because of these notices. I don't know.
Yeah.
But oh man, yeah. Jeez, what a year.
Yeah. Well, I guess my feeling is that these people are going to haunt me now for the rest of my life. I mean, I've stopped receiving benefits. I'm done, right? But I have a feeling I'm still going to be dealing with them trying to get their money back.
Wow.
From me for a long time. I hope that's not the case, but it's kind of worrisome.
Are you gonna have to like drive down somewhere and show your passport or something? Be like, this is me.
Yeah, this is really me.
It's really
me.
I don't know. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. We don't know what the implications there are for that, because most of us are freelancers, and freelancers have never qualified for this kind of aid before. This is just totally a new situation for
them too.
And for them too, exactly.
Yeah.
So, whew, yeah, that's wild. Well, I guess the next topic related to unemployment is, I guess we could briefly mention what we were talking before, Russell, that we're working on a letter writing campaign, but it's not quite ready yet. So stay tuned. It might come out on our the union's Facebook page, or it might come out right in your email box. We're not quite sure yet, but about the unemployment, just about like how entertainment workers, our work it's coming back, but it's not coming back full blast for months still to come, and we always knew that. We always knew that our work would come back faster, but now we're getting cut off from unemployment aid 2 months ahead of time, and it's yeah.
Before the work gets here.
Yeah, and of course a lot of musicians like yourself, Mark, have already found other ways, other means to get some help, but a lot of folks are hanging on to the unemployment, until the end of it, and that's because we need it. The work is not coming back full blast. It's coming back slowly. I know both of you fellas are working, and I'm working a little bit, and but it's nowhere near what it was, in 2019, of course, and it won't be, until everybody's comfortable getting out and rubbing elbows. So, yeah, man. I guess the other topic would be the eviction news that you had, Russell. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, the city council actually voted unanimously to postpone evictions, which is a great thing, but it's only good in Austin.
Right. Oh, in the city, right?
Yeah, in the city. And also, there's money for people that need it there. All you got to do is access the city's website.
You're talking about the rent relief thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But there is still money there to help people.
Yeah. Yeah, you just have to apply, and that's the rent relief thing is really the best way.
Really is
to do
both
it.
Both parties are helped.
Yes, yeah, you get your rent paid, and your landlord actually gets to be able to pay their bills too, and yeah. So that's great. What are the dates, Russell? Do you know where is it extended till?
For the rest of the year.
For the rest of the year. Oh, that's great.
End of the year.
Because it was going to be August, right? It was when I think the original or the last date, but it's going to be the rest of this year.
The year. Huh?
Oh, that's really good news. Yeah. We definitely don't need. We don't want people to be moved out of their houses. During all this. We want people to get back to work.
Sure.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's great. Yeah. Okay. Well, how's work coming back for you guys? Is there any particular type of work coming back any sooner than anything else? Obviously the outdoor stuff a bit, but it's getting hot.
It's
Yeah,
starting to pick up.
yeah, I'm getting a few things. I think the recording stuff, especially the international recording stuff, is really going to take a long time to come back. I mean, I was in the middle of a production session with somebody from Canada when the COVID pandemic hit, and I don't see any, hope that that's going to happen, that we're going to resume that recording session anytime between now and September.
Yeah.
So, some things are, the local club work, there's a little bit of stuff happening, but other bigger stuff, I don't see that happening quite yet. But maybe the fall things will start to work out.
Yeah, it's tough to schedule things too far out. People just don't have the confidence to do that yet. Understandably so. Yeah. Yeah, I think the Canadian border is still closed, right?
It
to
is.
the U.S., right? Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. So. Yeah, that's a thing. We did hear from one of our Austin Union brothers that's been sheltering in place in Canada, up there, and he's looking at coming back down towards like August, maybe, and we're trying to help him with some of the immigration issues that he might run into potentially, because he wants to come and then go back a few times, and that makes sense, and so yeah, but yeah, we'll just have to see about that. I think you're right though. Yeah, that the international work, the borders, are still tricky to navigate, and any kind of travel is going to be strange, and everybody just doesn't have the budget to do that kind of stuff, yet. Everybody's kind of still hanging on. So yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, but yeah, outdoor stuff seems to be coming back real. The local stuff, obviously. Who do we have? We had several more clubs open this past week or so, and I think we'll probably see that, slowly opening. Some of the indoor clubs. I think some of them are doing limited attendance, right, or capacity, and then others I hear are just going back to normal.
Opening the doors.
Yeah. So
Our governor says 100%.
that's right. Yeah, it's up to the businesses, isn't it? Yeah. But in a way, I mean, I guess it's up to the consumers too. It's up to the patrons. If they'll come to a club that's 100% capacity, or if they'll feel more comfortable if it's 50% or 60% or something. I don't know. Do you guys get a sense of that? Have you heard from any of the patrons, the audience members about that? Has anybody said anything to you guys about that?
Well, I did a show and peeked at the dance floor. It was packed.
Yeah.
They seemed fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what I've seen is that clubs that open their doors to 100% get 100%.
Yeah.
And the clubs that are sticking with 50 or 75, then that's what they're getting.
Huh.
Yeah. But I don't think that. I think most of the clubs and venues are going to go to 100% pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By the end of the summer, I would think that most of them will be that way, if not before.
Barring some disaster with some kind of variant or something, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, and I think the number of clubs that are open is still smaller than the number of total clubs, right? So I think it's a little easier like right now to fill a club because there just aren't as many options, right? And that may, just like when you open a new club, there's that honeymoon period, and we may sort of see a miniaturized version of that, I suppose. But people, I agree. People do seem to want to get out there, and the dance floor is sort of the biggest expression of that, isn't it? Yeah. So we shall see. Yeah, right on. Any outdoor gigs for you guys? Any wisdom with that? I did one last weekend, and I brought a fan and a cooler. It was still, It was still pretty
I
hot.
did have an outdoor gig, and I had a fan too.
Did you? Yeah.
It was just blowing hot air.
We love the fans. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's like a blow dryer. Yeah. But
Yep.
yeah. Yeah. I think they'll be I think private gigs in particular will probably be mostly outside, but you never know. As we get into the real dog days, they maybe want to be in the
Right.
air conditioning. But we'll see. Yeah. Right on, man. I think one of our associates from the show has done something recently with like a yoga teaching license or something. So maybe we can have a session where we talk about yoga or other types of non-Western healing for musicians, especially for carpal tunnel type stuff and tendonitis, right? And our brother Floyd has expressed interest in maybe coming on again to talk about some of the stuff he's been working with mental health recovery things for musicians, and could have all kinds of topics here. So, yeah.
Well, that would be good because you had mentioned that a couple of people have hurt their back
Oh yeah,
since they've been back to work.
that's real. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I did some subbing work in the last month for a musician. I won't mention who they were, but it was like their first gig out. They threw their back out. Just
Wow.
loading their stuff.
Mm.
And it was terrible. So it just broke my heart, and yeah. So yeah, lift with the knees, but and yeah, getting back to work is a physical thing too. That outdoor gig that I played this past weekend, one of the other musicians really felt it in his back because we were standing on concrete, for 2.5 hours, and just that. It's just not something we're used to from this past year. We were used to it 2 years ago, but now, we're not used to standing and delivering like we used to. And so, yeah, I know you guys have been out there for a while, but for the musicians that are just venturing out for the first time, be careful with your physical body. Yeah, because
Bring a stool.
bring a stool. That's a good point too. Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely, man. You can bring your own stool. You can bring your own cooler. You can bring your own fan.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't forget your instrument. That's a thing too.
You need to have that.
I've gotten some anxiety myself. Just with the loadout. Just like, oh, do I have everything? Like,
Yeah.
where is everything? I gotta make sure I've got everything in the bag. Yeah. Yeah, so it's real, but at least it's happening. So,
Right.
yeah, all right. Well, any other topics we should hit this week, fellas?
The only other thing is that the phase 2 has started,
Oh,
and for the homeless
yeah, the
shelters,
new camping ban.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
and that means that the police can start writing tickets now.
Mhm.
Which they said they're not going to do.
It's true, but it's up to them. It's up to the individual officer
Wow.
to decide what they're going to do.
Mhm. And then the date when they start like physically moving people is still August. Is that right? Or wow.
They get a month in between statutes.
Oof. Yeah, that's wild. And that in and of itself is gonna disrupt the safe environment in a lot of places where our musicians work, right? Like just having that disruption of life. Man, yeah, that is worrisome for sure. Something to watch out for, and man, and keep our eyes on.
Since they decided to just let that bill for the hotel just die,
Mm.
who knows what'll be next?
Right, that's one of the things that happened yesterday. Is that right in the city council
It was
meeting?
on the table, but they didn't move on it.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's a solemn reminder that there are people much worse off than musicians, I suppose, or some musicians at least. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. There was something else about the venue relief fund or something at the city council meeting yesterday. You have anything about that?
I think it's was it number 36? I don't remember the exact number, but I know it got talked about.
Mm-hmm.
All of that stuff is on the city's website, but I think it was number 36.
Yeah, but I think what they're trying to do is move some of that money out quicker. Is the
Right.
idea, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
and that should be good. I mean, that should be able to to help those places where we work
Yeah,
to
right
open
away.
up better. Yeah, hopefully. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith that that money will get directly to musicians, but if it gets our workplaces open sooner, let's do it.
Right.
Let's get back to work. So yeah, right on. Okay, cool. All right. Well, I guess we probably sign off for this week. You guys have anything
Hmm.
else to add for this week? No.
No,
Okay.
that's it.
Awesome, man. All right. Well, if you guys wouldn't mind hanging on for just a second after we sign off, there's
Okay.
probably something else, but that we should talk about. But you, the viewer, if you're in the music business, don't give up. We can get through this together by sharing information and with solidarity. Join a union. The labor movement is roaring back to life here, all over the United States and all over the world, and it needs to be. That's why it's roaring back, because the workers need to take back a lot of power from the billionaire class, and that's just where we're at. We have to do it again. It's laying dormant for too long. So we're all coming back, and we'll get back to work all together by doing this. So take care, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.